What's up, YouTube? This is A.R.M, and this is my Man of Steel review. Okay, I'm not going to make this video too long. I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what I thought of the film, what I thought of some of the storylines, the plot, some of the actors, certain things I had questions about, Easter eggs as well. First and foremost, I thought this film had great action. You know, we can't have a Superman film and have an enemy like Zod and not have, you know, immense punches being thrown, buildings toppling, people in danger, collateral damage. I mean, that's what we wanted from Superman. That's the stuff we complained about with the Brandon Routh movie back in 2006. So I thought it was a great film for action. I loved it. Hell, it could even use some more. So I definitely give this film props for the action. I really like the Krypton scenes. I think they did a really good job in providing some backstory for Krypton. A little bit more detail, you know, the science, the scenery, the council, the art, just everything, the way the army, the way the armies were composed, the babies, they showed the little underwater scene where the babies were being kept in those little womb pouches, just very advanced. It's very. I could have watched the whole film just based off of Krypton alone. I'll make a good prequel. So I definitely saw that as one of the high points of the film for me, even all the way up until Krypton imploded, and it was a very graphic scene. I like how they told Superman's origin more than flashbacks, because even with the younger generations, we all know that the ship landed in Smallville and in the grass field. We know Martha, Jonathan Kent found the baby boy. We didn't really need to see all that over again. So I was quite pleased that Superman was already a grown man, and then just they chose key moments to go back in flashbacks to show us certain moments that were significant in him growing up. So Snyder and Nolan did really good with conveying that. But there are a few things I was a little questionable about. Jonathan Kent. Now, I know he plays sort of an Uncle Ben-like figure in Superman's life. And I know he wanted to humble the boy and teach him that, even though he has powers, he doesn't always have to use them, and he's not quite the same as other kids. Basically with great power comes great responsibility. But maybe on a larger scale, if there was like a large tragedy and the boy was there, maybe I'll say, hey, let this play out. Don't try to save too many people. But yeah, if it was a small school bus full of kids, of course, save them. I'll say be a little bit more discreet next time. But the biggest question I had is, why would he allow himself to die? Why would this man save a dog and then allow himself to be swooped up by a tornado when his son could have saved him? That doesn't make any sense. That didn't teach him a lesson. If anything, it looks like he, and this may sound a little funny, but maybe he didn't want to be with his family anymore. Maybe he wanted to die. It seemed a little suicidal. He was tired of Martha. He was tired of Clark or something. You don't just tell someone to stand back and let you die. I didn't get that part. It didn't make any sense to me at all. I didn't get the message there. The only message I received is, son, even though you can't save me, I don't want you to save me. Another thing I had a question about is the scene where Zod and his cronies attack Martha Kent's farm, and she was standing outside with them, and Superman rushes into Zod, and they shoot off into the distance. Yet Zod's cronies were still there. As you can tell, Clark and Zod went miles and miles away. Even though they tried not to portray them as quite being evil just for the sake of being evil, it seemed like they would have took her captive or harmed her or something. But when he got back to the farm, she was just packing up her stuff. So I was a little confused on that too. Amy Adams is Lois Lane. She played a great Lois Lane. She played a good Lois Lane. I don't think she played a great Lois Lane. I think she could have amped it up a little bit more, because Lois Lane is a ballsy woman, but a little bit more ballsiness there, and it was interesting. And I think this is Nolan's input on the film. She was an integral part in stopping Zod. You know, Jor-El chose to tell her key information about the spaceship and the atmosphere and what she needed to do, and he gave her the Superman key. So if she wasn't on that ship and did her part and was able to eject through a pod to get the stuff back to Superman, would he have been as successful? You know, she was almost like a unofficial sidekick. You know, she was on. You know, she shot. You know, shot at the woman. You know, the female general. I forget her name. She was on the ship when or on the jet where the door flew off, and she was standing that. She was very brave. So she was brave in that aspect. But I don't know. She just seemed like he wouldn't have been successful without her. You know, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. It made for interesting storytelling as far as I'm concerned, but I don't hold that against the film. And here are just a few things. I did see a few Easter eggs. One of them were pointed out to me by a buddy. The satellite that Zod and Superman flies into when they're fighting in outer space, it says Wayne Tech on the side. And then I also noticed myself that the oil truck that blew up when they were fighting in Metropolis said LexCorp on the side. So, you know, they're just letting us know Lex Luthor's around, Bruce Wayne is around. And I'm impressed because, you know, DC films aren't really known for giving Easter eggs like that. We're used to Marvel films giving us Easter eggs, but DC films, they're pretty tight when it comes to that type of stuff. And I like how we didn't really see Clark Kent until the end of the film. You know, I always thought those were boring in the Christopher Reeve films. So, you know, maybe even with the next film, of course, there's going to be Clark Kent parts, but maybe they'll be a little bit more interesting. You know, not quite as just okay. There's Perry White and Lois Lane, and they're yelling at each other, and here comes Jimmy Olsen, and you know, just typing in the background. You know, it's just boring. You know, maybe they'll make them more like a paparazzi type reporters that bug celebrities. I would think that would be funny. There is no after credit surprises. I think the only DC film that did that was Green Lantern with the Sinestro scene. It's not always necessary, but you know, I think comic book fans have come to expect it, even though it's more from Marvel movies than DC. But if DC's trying to catch up, or if DC's trying to, you know, steal from the best and make it their own, I think we should have been treated to something after the credits. You know, it would have been nice to see them go to Lex Luthor's office after the credits, and you know, you see his bald head, and they zoom around, and him looking at everything that was happening, like on a monitor, and you know, something like that. You know, I think that would have set up a good next film. So overall, I give the movie an 8 out of 10. I don't give it a perfect 10 because, you know, there are places where the movie could have improved, but I think so far in my adult life, it's been the best Superman film I've seen. You know, definitely blows the last one out of the water. I think now that they have like a good base, the next Superman film is just going to really rock it. He didn't use any ice breath in this film, but as we know, he was developing his powers. He just flew for the first time, and there is no kryptonite. But you know, I think it'll be interesting if they do introduce Lex Luthor as a villain for the next film. Kryptonite would be something that he would discover. Maybe Metallo would be a villain in the next film. Who knows? So that's my quick review of Superman, the Man of Steel. Thank you for checking out my video. Leave your comments and thoughts on what you think or anything I've said. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.